Welcome back, Coinology. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern Lincoln cents ever produced, the 2008 D1 cent coin, a coin that many people overlook every single day in their pocket change, yet under the right circumstances can be worth far more than its face value. Most people see a penny as just 1 cent, something small, something almost insignificant, but serious collectors and sharp-eyed treasure hunters know that certain pennies can carry surprising value. The 2008 D penny is one of those coins that has captured attention in recent years because of rare error varieties, high-grade specimens, and market demand that can push prices into thousands of dollars under specific conditions. Some exaggerated claims online mention values like $12,000 million, but today we are going to break down the realistic market value, the history, the design, the weight, the mint symbol, and the true factors that determine how much a 2008 D penny is actually worth. First, let's understand exactly what the 2008 D penny is. This coin was minted in the year 2008 at the Denver Mint. The D Mint mark you see on the obverse side of the coin, just below the date, indicates that it was struck at the United States Mint facility located in Denver, Colorado. The Denver Mint has been producing coins since 1906, and it is one of the major minting facilities in the United States. In 2008, the Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents for circulation. Because of such a large mintage, the majority of 2008 D pennies found in circulation are only worth their face value of 1 cent. Now let's talk about the design of the 2008 D penny. On the obverse side, you will see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln. This design has been featured on the Lincoln cent since 1909, when it was first introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The portrait was designed by Victor David Brenner, and his initials, VDB, can be found on the reverse at the bottom near the rim on modern issues. On the obverse, you will also see the word Liberty to the left of Lincoln's portrait, the motto "In God We Trust" above his head, and the year 2008 along with the D Mint mark to the right of his shoulder. The reverse of the 2008 D penny features the Lincoln Memorial design. This reverse was used from 1959 through 2008, making 2008 the final year of the Lincoln Memorial reverse before the special 2009 bicentennial designs were introduced. The Lincoln Memorial reverse was designed by Frank Gasparo. It shows the Lincoln Memorial Building in Washington, D.C., and if you look closely at well-preserved coins, you can even see the tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside the memorial. Above the memorial is the inscription United States of America, and below it is the denomination 1 cent. The motto E Pluribus Unum appears above the memorial. Now let's discuss the composition and weight of the 2008 D penny. Since 1982, most Lincoln cents have been made primarily of zinc with a thin copper plating. The 2008 D penny is composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. The total weight of the coin is 2.5 grams. This is important because weight plays a crucial role in identifying possible mint errors. If you ever find a 2008 D penny that weighs significantly more or less than 2.5 grams, that could indicate a rare error such as being struck on the wrong planchet. The diameter of the coin is 19.05 millimeters. And the thickness is approximately 1.52 millimeters. The edge of the coin is plain, meaning it has no reading or special design along the rim. These standard specifications are essential for collectors who want to verify authenticity and detect potential anomalies. Now let's move into the exciting part, value. In circulated condition, a 2008 D penny is worth exactly 1 cent. Because the mintage was extremely high, there is no scarcity in worn condition. However, the story changes when we talk about uncirculated coins and high-grade examples. Coins that have never entered circulation and retain their original mint luster are far more desirable. These are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with MS standing for mint state. An MS-60 coin is uncirculated but may have marks, while an MS-65 or MS-67 coin is considered gem quality. A 2008 D penny graded MS-65 might be worth a few dollars. An MS-67 could be worth significantly more, sometimes ranging from $20 to $100 depending on market demand. Extremely high grades such as MS-68 are rare for circulation strike pennies and can bring several $100s at auction. The higher the grade, the lower the population, and the higher the potential value. Now let's talk about errors and varieties, because this is where serious money can come into play. One known variety for 2008 D pennies is the double die error. A doubled die occurs when the coin die receives a misaligned impression during the hubbing process, resulting in doubled design elements on the coin.
If you notice doubling on the date, lettering, or Lincoln's features, you may have something special.
Verified doubled die errors can sell for $50, $100, or even several $100 depending on the strength of the doubling and the coin's condition. Another potential error is an off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank is not properly aligned in the press, causing part of the design to be missing. Off-center errors that still show the full date are especially valuable. Depending on how dramatic the off-center strike is, these coins can sell for $20 to $200 or more. There are also broad strikes, clipped planchets, and coins struck on wrong metal planchets. If a 2008 D penny were somehow struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, such as a dime or foreign coin, its value could skyrocket into the thousands of dollars. These types of errors are rare but highly sought after. Some online sources exaggerate values, claiming that certain modern pennies are worth millions or billions of dollars. Realistically, no regular 2008 D penny has ever sold for $12,000 million. That figure would represent $12 billion, which is not supported by any legitimate auction record. However, a rare error coin in pristine condition could potentially be worth thousands of dollars, especially if certified by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Certification is extremely important in determining value. When a coin is professionally graded and encapsulated, buyers gain confidence in its authenticity and grade. This increases market value and makes it easier to sell. Raw coins, meaning coins not graded by a professional service, often sell for less because of uncertainty. Another factor that influences value is eye appeal. A coin with vibrant red copper color, known as RD for red, is more valuable than one that is turned brown over time. Collectors pay premiums for coins with full red surfaces and strong luster. Red-brown coins fall somewhere in between, while brown coins are typically less valuable unless they have exceptional strike quality. Market demand also plays a huge role. If collectors begin focusing heavily on completing high-grade modern penny sets, prices can rise. Auction results fluctuate depending on supply and demand. Watching major coin auctions can give insight into current market trends. The historical context of 2008 is also interesting. It was the final year of the Lincoln Memorial Reverse, marking the end of an era that began in 1959. In 2009, the reverse design changed to celebrate the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth with 4 different designs representing stages of his life. This makes the 2008 D penny the last standard issue of the memorial design, adding a subtle historical significance. Collectors often build year-end mint sets, meaning they collect 1 penny from each mint for every year. The 2008 D is an essential part of any Lincoln memorial set. While common, it still holds its place in American numismatic history. When searching for valuable 2008 D pennies, always inspect your coins carefully under good lighting. Use a magnifying glass or coin loupe to look for doubling, die cracks, or unusual features. Weigh the coin with a precise digital scale. If something seems unusual, consider consulting a professional coin dealer or submitting the coin for grading. It is also important to store coins properly. Keep them in protective holders to prevent scratches and environmental damage. Avoid cleaning coins, as cleaning can significantly reduce value. Collectors prefer coins in their original, untouched state. Roll hunting is another popular method for finding valuable pennies. This involves obtaining rolls of pennies from banks and searching through them for key dates, errors, and high-grade examples. As we continue going deeper into the 2008 D1 cent coin, it is extremely important to understand how grading populations and condition rarity truly influence the market, because this is where modern coins like the 2008 D penny begin to separate themselves from ordinary pocket change. While millions upon millions were produced, only a tiny fraction survive in ultra-high grades. That difference between common and rare is not about mintage alone, it is about preservation. When coins are struck at the mint, they are poured into large bins, transported in bags, and distributed through the banking system. During this process, coins collide with each other, causing nicks, scratches, and small contact marks. Even before entering circulation, many coins already lose the pristine perfection required for the highest grades. For a 2008 D penny to achieve a grade like MS67 or MS68, it must display exceptional strike quality, blazing original luster, and almost no visible marks even under magnification. These coins are incredibly difficult to find in circulation because once they are handled, even lightly, they begin to lose that flawless surface.
This is why serious collectors sometimes purchase mint rolls directly from banks or coin dealers in hopes of finding top-grade examples. Another key factor in determining the value of a 2008 D penny is the color designation. Copper-plated zinc cents are graded not only by number but also by color. A coin designated as RD, meaning red, must show at least 95% of its original mint red color. Over time, exposure to air and moisture causes the copper plating to oxidize, turning the coin brown. Once a coin becomes RB, red-brown, or fully BN, brown, its value generally decreases compared to a fully red specimen of the same numeric grade. This is why storage conditions are so critical. Coins stored in dry, airtight environments maintain their red brilliance far longer than those exposed to humidity. Let's now talk more about specific error possibilities that can dramatically increase the value of a 2008 D penny. Die cracks are one of the more common mint errors. A die crack occurs when the die used to strike the coin develops a fracture. When this cracked die strikes a coin, raised lines appear on the coin's surface. While minor die cracks may not add much value, dramatic cracks or cuts, where a portion of the die breaks off completely, can attract collector interest and sell for significant premiums. Another interesting error type is a die clash. This happens when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them. The result can leave faint mirrored impressions of one side's design on the opposite side. Collectors carefully examine coins for unusual lines or shapes that should not normally be present. If a strong die clash is identified and documented, it can increase desirability. We also need to discuss rotated dies. In a normal coin, if you hold it upright and flip it top to bottom, the reverse should appear upright as well. If the reverse appears rotated significantly, such as 45 degrees or more, that indicates a rotated die error. These are collectible and can command premiums depending on the degree of rotation. One of the most valuable possibilities for any modern cent, including the 2008 D, is being struck on the wrong planchet. For example, if a cent design were struck on a dime planchet by mistake, the coin would be smaller, lighter, and silver-colored. Because the 2008 D penny should weigh 2.5 grams, any major deviation could signal something extraordinary. A cent struck on a foreign planchet or another denomination's blank can bring thousands of dollars at auction because of its rarity and uniqueness. Now let's explore auction dynamics and how coins actually achieve high prices. When a rare high-grade 2008 D penny appears at auction, competitive bidding can push the final price higher than expected. Two determined collectors trying to complete registry sets may drive the price upward. Registry sets are competitive collections registered with grading companies, where collectors compete for the highest graded sets. Because points are awarded based on grade, a single coin graded 1 point higher than others can become extremely valuable. This registry competition has significantly increased demand for modern coins in ultra-high grades. Even though millions were minted, perhaps only a handful achieve MS68 red, making them condition rarities. That is where four-figure prices become possible. Not because the coin is old or historically rare, but because perfection is rare. Let's also talk about the economic context of 2008. That year was marked by a major financial crisis in the United States and globally. While pennies were still heavily produced, public attention was focused elsewhere. Coin collecting sometimes increases during economic downturns because people look for alternative investments or hobbies that connect them with tangible assets. Modern coins saved in rolls during that period may still exist unopened today, offering opportunities for future discoveries. It is also worth mentioning the difference between business strike coins and proof coins. The 2008 D penny is a business strike intended for circulation. Proof coins, which are specially struck for collectors, were produced at the San Francisco Mint with an S mint mark and have mirror-like finishes. Proof coins are not the same as circulation coins and are generally more carefully made. However, even proof coins must be in perfect condition to reach high values. Another area of potential value lies in transitional errors. Although 2008 did not involve a major composition change like 1982 did, any year has the small possibility of minting anomalies during production transitions. Careful research into known varieties can help collectors identify overlooked treasures. When evaluating a 2008 D penny for possible high value, lighting and magnification are essential tools. A 10x magnifying loupe allows you to inspect the date, mint mark, lettering, and Lincoln's portrait for doubling or abnormalities. A digital gram scale accurate to 0.01 grams helps confirm weight.
Calipers can measure diameter and thickness to ensure the coin matches official specifications. If you believe you have found a rare error or high-grade specimen, submitting it to a professional grading service is often the best step. Authentication protects you from selling an undervalued coin or being accused of misrepresentation. Once graded, the coin is sealed in a tamper-evident holder with a certification number that can be verified online. Now let's address the concept of exaggerated claims again. Viral videos and social media posts often claim that modern pennies are worth millions or billions of dollars. These claims are usually clickbait designed to attract views. While rare coins can indeed sell for high amounts, values must be supported by documented auction results. A realistic top value for a 2008 D penny would likely be in the thousands of dollars for an extraordinary error or top population graded example, not billions. However, the excitement around searching for these coins is real. The possibility that a simple penny could pay for a vacation, a car, or even a down payment on a house motivates collectors to examine every coin carefully. The key is knowledge. Understanding what to look for transforms random searching into strategic treasure hunting. The 2008 D penny also represents the closing chapter of nearly 50 years of the Lincoln Memorial reverse design. That historical endpoint gives it a symbolic importance within the Lincoln cent series. For collectors building complete memorial sets from 1959 to 2008, the 2008 D is the final piece of the regular design puzzle. In the marketplace, rolls of 2008 D pennies can sometimes be purchased at slight premiums if they are original bank-wrapped rolls. Collectors hope that untouched rolls may contain gem-quality coins or errors missed during initial distribution. Searching through these rolls can be time-consuming but occasionally rewarding. Storage and preservation cannot be overstated. Modern copper-plated zinc cents are vulnerable to corrosion if exposed to moisture. White spots, discoloration, or bubbling of the plating can occur. Proper storage in low humidity environments using inert holders helps maintain value. As we continue exploring the 2008 D penny in even greater depth, we will examine population reports, collector psychology, long-term investment potential, and strategies for identifying undervalued examples in the market. The story of this coin is not just about 1 cent. It is about how modern manufacturing, grading standards, collector competition, and human curiosity combine to create value where most people see almost none. And in the next part, we will go even further into advanced error diagnostics, population data analysis, and realistic projections for future value growth. Now, as we move even deeper into the world of the 2008 D1 cent coin, we need to shift our focus toward advanced evaluation techniques, long-term market behavior, and the psychology behind why collectors are willing to pay large sums for what most people consider an ordinary penny. Understanding these deeper layers separates casual curiosity from serious numismatic knowledge. One of the most important advanced tools in evaluating a 2008 D penny is studying population reports from professional grading companies. Population reports show how many coins have been graded at each grade level. For example, if thousands of 2008 D pennies have been graded MS65 red, but only a handful have reached MS68 red, that small number creates a condition rarity. Even though the original mintage was extremely high, the number surviving in near-perfect condition becomes the key driver of price. Scarcity at the top grade level is often what turns a modern coin into a four-figure collectible. Condition rarity is different from absolute rarity. Absolute rarity refers to how many coins were made in total. The 2008 D penny is not absolutely rare because hundreds of millions were produced. However, condition rarity refers to how many examples exist in exceptional condition. This is where value can develop. A collector building a top-ranked registry set may desperately need the single highest-graded example available. When supply is extremely limited at that level, competitive bidding can push prices dramatically higher. Another advanced factor to consider is strike quality. Not all 2008 D pennies were struck equally. Some coins show sharper details in Lincoln's hair, beard, and coat. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial columns may appear fully separated and crisp on well-struck coins, while weaker strikes may blur these details. Strong strikes combined with flawless surfaces create the most desirable examples. Luster is equally critical. Mint luster refers to the way light reflects off the microscopic flow lines created during the striking process. A coin with strong, undisturbed luster will appear bright and almost glowing when tilted under light. Once that luster is broken by friction or contact marks, the grade drops. Collectors pay significant premiums for coins with vibrant cartwheel luster. Let's talk about die varieties in more technical detail. A doubled die is not the same as machine doubling. True doubled dies originate during the die creation process and show clear, separated doubling on design elements. Machine doubling, on the other hand, is caused by mechanical vibration during striking and usually appears flat and shelf-like. Knowing the difference is crucial because true doubled dies can be valuable, while machine doubling typically adds little or no premium. Die deterioration is another factor often misunderstood. As dies wear out from striking thousands of coins, fine details begin to soften. Letters may appear thicker or distorted. While this is not considered a major error, extreme die deterioration can create interesting varieties that some collectors pursue. Now let's explore the possibility of dramatic mint errors. A major off-center strike that leaves 40% to 60% of the design missing but still shows the full date and mint mark can be highly desirable. The more dramatic and visually obvious the error, the more collectors are drawn to it. Error collectors often prefer pieces that are immediately recognizable without magnification. Another fascinating possibility is a double strike error. This occurs when a coin is struck once and then struck again slightly off alignment. The result can be overlapping images or distorted shapes. If a 2008 D penny exhibits a strong double strike with visible separation between impressions, it could command hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on condition. An eye appeal. Broad strikes occur when the retaining collar fails during striking, causing the coin to expand outward without a defined rim. These coins appear slightly larger and thinner than normal. While not extremely rare, they are collectible and can bring premiums. Clipped planchets are another collectible error type. If a blank planchet is improperly cut from the metal strip, it may have a curved or straight clip missing from its edge. Genuine clips show a characteristic metal flow pattern near the clip area. A 2008 D penny with a clear clipped planchet can be worth significantly more than face value. We must also examine the concept of market timing. Coin values are influenced by overall economic conditions, collector interest, and trends within the hobby. During periods when modern coins become popular among registry set builders, prices for top-grade examples can surge. At other times, the market may soften. Understanding timing can help collectors decide when to buy or sell. Another important concept is liquidity. While a rare coin may have a high theoretical value, actually achieving that value depends on finding the right buyer. High-grade certified coins are generally easier to sell because they have standardized grading and widespread recognition. Raw coins without certification may be harder to market at premium prices. Now let's address long-term investment potential. Modern coins like the 2008 D penny are sometimes viewed skeptically by traditional collectors who prefer older, historically scarce coins. However, registry competition and population scarcity have shown that modern coins can appreciate significantly when top-grade examples are limited. The key is focusing on quality rather than quantity. Storage techniques also play a major role in long-term value preservation. Because the 2008 D penny is copper-plated zinc, it is particularly vulnerable to environmental damage. Zinc cores can corrode if the copper plating is compromised. This can cause bubbling or blistering on the surface. Collectors should store coins in climate-controlled environments with low humidity and stable temperatures. Avoid PVC-based holders, which can release chemicals that damage coins over time. Let's imagine a scenario. Suppose a collector discovers a 2008 D penny in an old bankroll that appears flawless. After careful examination, the coin is submitted for grading and receives an MS68 red grade. Population reports reveal that only a handful exist at this grade. Two registry collectors compete for it at auction, and the final price reaches several $1,000s. That is how a 1-cent coin can realistically reach high value. Not through exaggeration, but through rarity and perfection. Education is the greatest tool a collector can have. By studying known varieties, understanding grading standards, and following auction results, anyone can increase their chances of identifying undervalued coins. The difference between an ordinary penny and a valuable one often lies in tiny details that most people overlook. It is also important to remain realistic. While stories of million-dollar pennies capture attention, most 2008 D pennies will always remain worth 1 cent. The excitement comes from the search and the possibility of finding something special. Patience and persistence are essential qualities in coin collecting. As we continue this deep exploration, the next stage will involve analyzing hypothetical high-value scenarios, comparing the 2008 D penny to other modern Lincoln cents, and exploring how collector demand evolves over decades. The journey of this small coin reflects a larger truth about numismatics: value is created through rarity, condition, demand, and knowledge. And with every detail we uncover, the simple 2008 D penny becomes more than just spare change. It becomes a lesson in how modern coins can hold hidden potential for those willing to look closely enough. Now, as we continue even further into the deep analysis of the 2008 D1 cent coin, we need to explore comparative analysis, long-term collecting strategies, and how this coin fits into the broader Lincoln cents series from both a historical and financial perspective. Because understanding one coin in isolation is useful, but understanding how it compares to other years and mint issues gives a much clearer picture of its true potential. When we compare the 2008 D penny to other Denver Mint Lincoln cents of the 2000s, we see that production numbers were generally very high during this era. The early 2000s saw billions of cents produced annually across all mints. That means rarity is not based on low mintage for 2008 D. Instead, as discussed earlier, the key lies in condition rarity and special error varieties. For example, some earlier modern pennies, like certain early 1980s or 1990s issues, have developed strong markets for top-grade coins because relatively few were preserved in pristine condition. The same long-term trend could apply to the 2008 D penny if population data continues to show limited numbers at the highest grade levels. Another important comparison is with the 2009 Lincoln cent series. In 2009, 4 different reverse designs were released to celebrate the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Because collectors knew these were special commemorative issues, many people saved them in rolls and mint sets. As a result, high-grade examples are more common for 2009 than for certain earlier years where fewer people saved coins intentionally. Interestingly, since 2008 was the final year of the long-running Lincoln Memorial Reverse, some collectors now see it as the true closing chapter of a 50-year design era. Over time, this symbolic importance may strengthen demand. Let's explore the concept of generational collecting. Coin collecting often moves in cycles. A generation that grows up using certain coins in daily circulation may later feel nostalgia and begin collecting those coins as adults. People who were children or teenagers in 2008 may one day seek high-grade 2008 D pennies for sentimental reasons. This generational demand can slowly increase long-term value, especially for top population-graded coins. We also need to examine the impact of grading inflation and evolving grading standards. Over time, grading services sometimes adjust standards slightly. What was once considered MS-67 decades ago might be judged differently today. For modern coins like the 2008 D penny, consistency in grading is extremely important. Collectors often review high-resolution auction photos to compare strike sharpness, surface preservation, and color intensity before bidding significant money. Another advanced concept is toning. Although copper-plated zinc cents are less known for colorful toning compared to older copper coins, some 2008 D pennies can develop attractive hues if stored in certain environments. Light blues, purples, or golden tones may appear under proper conditions. While toning can sometimes reduce value if unattractive, beautiful natural toning can actually enhance eye appeal and desirability among specialized collectors. Now let's explore the economics behind why people search through penny rolls. The concept is simple: the cost of entry is extremely low. For just a small amount of money, collectors can obtain bankrolls and examine hundreds or thousands of coins. The downside risk is minimal, but the potential upside, while rare, is exciting. This asymmetrical risk-to-reward ratio is one reason modern penny hunting remains popular. The 2008 D penny also represents a time when physical cash transactions were still common. In the years following 2008, digital payments increased dramatically. As society slowly shifts toward electronic transactions, physical coin usage may decline. Over decades, this could impact how modern coins are preserved, collected, and valued. Coins that once circulated heavily may become less common in everyday transactions, changing how new generations encounter them. Let's talk more deeply about authentication. Counterfeiters generally focus on high-value rare coins rather than modern cents, but altered coins can still appear in the market. For example, someone might attempt to modify a mint mark or artificially create the appearance of doubling. Careful inspection and professional grading protect collectors from such risks. Knowledge remains the strongest defense. Another important strategy is cherry picking. Cherry picking refers to identifying undervalued coins in dealer inventories or online listings because of overlooked characteristics. A seller might list a 2008 penny as ordinary, not realizing it displays a minor double die or strong strike quality. Educated collectors who can recognize these features may acquire valuable coins at modest prices. We should also consider long-term metal trends. While the intrinsic metal value of a copper-plated zinc penny is minimal, discussions about eliminating the cent from circulation occasionally arise. If production were ever discontinued permanently, collectors might place additional historical significance on final-era coins like the 2008 Memorial reverse issue. Although speculative, policy changes can influence collector psychology. The concept of supply attrition is another factor. Over time, coins are lost, damaged, melted, or corroded. Even though hundreds of millions were minted, the number of high-quality surviving examples may gradually decline. Environmental exposure, improper storage, and circulation will reduce the available pool of collectible-grade coins. Let's imagine a long-term scenario spanning decades. In the year 2045 or 2050, collectors may look back at early 21st century coins with renewed interest. If population reports show that only a limited number of 2008 pennies exist in MS68 red, those coins could command strong premiums simply because no additional examples can be created. The mintage is fixed. The survival rate at top grades becomes the defining statistic. Now we must again address realistic versus exaggerated value claims. While sensational headlines may claim astronomical figures like billions of dollars, real documented auction results are what truly matter. A top-grade, certified 2008 penny might reach into the thousands under ideal circumstances. That is impressive for a 1-cent coin, but it remains grounded in actual market dynamics rather than fantasy numbers. Collector psychology plays a fascinating role here. Humans are naturally drawn to stories of hidden treasure. The idea that something as small as a penny could transform into significant money fuels curiosity and excitement. This emotional element sustains interest in coin hunting and drives online discussions. Networking within the collecting community also adds value. Coin shows, online forums, and collector groups allow enthusiasts to share discoveries and compare notes. Information about newly discovered varieties spreads quickly, sometimes increasing demand for specific issues. Documentation is another critical aspect. If a new variety of the 2008 penny were discovered and officially recognized, early finders could benefit greatly. The first certified examples often bring the highest premiums before the market stabilizes. As we move toward the next stage of this comprehensive exploration, we will analyze hypothetical auction case studies, break down how bidding wars develop, and explore advanced preservation science for modern copper-plated coins. The journey of the 2008 penny continues to reveal that even a common coin can become extraordinary under the right conditions of rarity, preservation, knowledge, and demand. And as we go deeper still, the layers of market behavior, historical context, and collector passion only become more fascinating, proving that within the smallest denomination of currency lies an entire universe of complexity and opportunity. Now, as we move deeper into part 5 of this extensive exploration of the 2008 1-cent coin, we are going to break down advanced auction behavior, real-world pricing psychology, preservation science in even more detail, and hypothetical high-value case studies that explain how a simple modern penny can realistically climb into the thousands of dollars under the right circumstances. Let's begin with auction mechanics. When a 2008 penny is listed at a major auction house, especially if it is graded at the very top of the population, the listing itself generates excitement. Auction houses photograph the coin under professional lighting, highlighting its luster, strike sharpness, and color. Registry collectors constantly monitor these listings. If the coin is one of only a few known examples at that grade level, bidders understand that they may not see another opportunity for months or even years. Scarcity combined with urgency is a powerful pricing force. Bidding wars often begin slowly. The opening bid may be modest, perhaps only a few $100s. But as the closing time approaches, competition intensifies. 2 or 3 serious collectors can rapidly push the price far beyond expectations. Emotional attachment to completing a high-ranking registry set can override strict budget discipline. In that moment, the coin becomes more than metal, it becomes status, achievement, and prestige within the collecting community. Now let's analyze a realistic hypothetical case study.
Imagine a collector submits a freshly discovered 2008 penny to a grading service. The coin comes back graded MS68 red, with nearly flawless surfaces and blazing cartwheel luster. Population reports reveal that only 3 coins have achieved this grade. The coin is placed in a premier auction with wide exposure. Registry competitors notice it immediately. One bidder needs this coin to move from second place to first place in a competitive set ranking. Another bidder wants to secure long-term investment potential. The bidding escalates and ultimately closes at $4,500 or even $7,000. That price is not based on face value or metal content. It is based on rarity in condition and collector demand. Now let's examine preservation science more deeply. The 2008 Pennies zinc core makes it particularly vulnerable compared to older solid bronze cents. If the thin copper plating is damaged, moisture can reach the zinc interior. Zinc reacts with oxygen and moisture, leading to corrosion, bubbling, or white powdery residue. Once corrosion begins, it spreads internally and cannot be reversed. This is why serious collectors use desiccants in storage boxes, maintain stable humidity levels, and avoid handling coins with bare fingers. Natural skin oils can accelerate chemical reactions over time. The temperature fluctuation is another silent enemy. Repeated expansion and contraction of metal due to changing temperatures can stress the plating. Ideally, coins should be stored at consistent room temperature in archival quality holders made from inert materials. Hard plastic slabs used by grading services provide excellent long-term protection. Now let's shift to long-term market forecasting. Modern coin markets often experience waves of popularity. When registry competition intensifies, top-grade prices surge. When interest shifts to other series, prices may stabilize or decline temporarily. However, population numbers remain fixed. If only a limited number of MS68 red examples exist for the 2008 penny, those coins will always represent the highest available quality tier unless new examples are discovered. We should also explore roll preservation strategies. Some collectors purchase original bankwrapped rolls of 2008 pennies and store them unopened for decades. The idea is simple: untouched rolls may contain coins in pristine condition that have never been exposed to circulation. Years later, when high-grade populations are established, unopened rolls become speculative treasure vaults. However, even unopened rolls do not guarantee perfection, because coins can acquire contact marks during mint packaging. Another fascinating area is microvariety research. Under magnification, small die markers such as tiny scratches or die polish lines can help identify specific die pairings. Advanced collectors sometimes catalog these minor varieties. While most microvarieties carry minimal premium initially, future research could elevate certain examples if unique die states are discovered. Let's talk about eye appeal in more emotional terms. When collectors view a coin, they do not only analyze grade numbers. They react visually. A 2008 penny with deep glowing red color and sharp memorial detail may simply feel superior. That subjective response can influence bidding behavior more than technical statistics alone. Another layer of value comes from presentation. Coins with strong provenance, meaning documented ownership history, can gain additional appeal. If a high-grade 2008 penny were once part of a well-known registry collection, future buyers might view it as more desirable due to its pedigree. Now let's address risk management. Not every coin submitted for grading will achieve a top-tier grade. Submission fees, shipping, and insurance costs add up. Collectors must carefully evaluate whether a coin truly has the potential to reach MS67 or higher before investing in certification. Oversubmission of average coins can reduce overall profitability. Education through auction archives is crucial. By studying past sales of 2008 pennies in high grades, collectors can identify pricing trends. If MS67 red examples consistently sell between $50 and $120, while MS68 red examples sell in the thousands, that price gap reveals the power of a single grading point. Let's imagine a second hypothetical scenario involving an error coin. Suppose a 2008 penny is discovered struck 50% off-center with full date and mint mark visible. The dramatic visual impact immediately attracts error collectors. After authentication and grading, the coin is marketed as a premium error. Because dramatic off-center errors are visually striking and scarce, the coin sells for $1,800 at auction.
Again, the jump from 1 cent to thousands comes not from age but from rarity and eye-catching uniqueness. Another advanced possibility is a retained cut error, where a portion of the die breaks but remains partially attached, creating a raised blob of metal near the rim. These can be highly collectible depending on size and placement. Now consider future technological advancements. Improved high-resolution scanning and online marketplaces make it easier for collectors worldwide to participate in auctions. Increased global access can expand bidder pools, potentially driving prices higher for top-quality coins. Let's also reflect on the philosophical dimension. The 2008 D penny symbolizes how value is constructed. Intrinsically, it contains minimal metal worth. Yet through scarcity, condition, competition, and human fascination, its value can multiply thousands of times. This demonstrates a broader economic principle: value is determined by demand relative to supply. As we continue expanding this deep dive, the next phase will explore advanced grading subtleties, the role of third-party verification in stabilizing prices, and even more complex hypothetical investment strategies related to modern Lincoln cents. The deeper we go, the clearer it becomes that the 2008 D penny is not merely spare change, it is a case study in modern numismatic economics, collector psychology, and the extraordinary potential hidden within ordinary objects. Now, as we move into part 6 of this deep and extended exploration of the 2008 D 1 cent coin, we are going to examine ultra-advanced grading subtleties, microscopic diagnostics, registry set economics in even greater detail, and realistic long-term investment frameworks that serious collectors use when analyzing modern coins like this one. The deeper we go, the clearer it becomes that even a coin minted in the billions can still contain hidden layers of scarcity and opportunity. Let us begin with microscopic surface analysis. When grading companies evaluate a 2008 D penny at the highest levels such as MS67 or MS68 red, they are not simply looking at whether the coin appears shiny. They examine the coin under magnification and high-intensity lighting. Tiny ticks, hairline scratches, carbon spots, and planchet imperfections all matter. On copper-plated zinc cents, even microscopic contact marks in Lincoln's cheek or jaw area can prevent a coin from reaching the top grade. The cheek is considered a prime focal point. Any disturbance in that smooth field lowers the grade significantly. The reverse also plays a critical role. On the Lincoln Memorial design, graders carefully inspect the steps, columns, and fields around the building. Full separation of the memorial columns in crisp architectural detail can enhance eye appeal. Weak strikes, though common, reduce the perception of sharpness and can limit grade ceilings. Therefore, when searching rolls for high-grade examples, collectors often tilt the coin under direct light and examine Lincoln's cheek and the memorial's fine lines first. Another subtle but extremely important factor is copper plating quality. Because the 2008 D penny consists of a zinc core with thin copper plating, any microscopic blistering or plating disturbance can be fatal to high grades. Sometimes small bubbles form under the plating due to improper bonding at the mint. Even if the coin looks bright, those tiny flaws can prevent it from reaching MS68. That is why true top population coins are so rare despite enormous mintages. Now let us analyze registry set economics more deeply. Registry sets are competitive digital rankings hosted by grading companies. Collectors upload certified coins into categorized sets such as Lincoln Memorial Cents Complete Set. Each coin earns points based on grade and rarity. Higher grades earn more points. Collectors compete to achieve the number 1 ranked set. This competition creates artificial but powerful demand for the highest graded examples, even if the difference between MS67 and MS68 appears visually small to a casual observer. The jump in price between grades can be dramatic. For example, a 2008 D penny graded MS66 red might sell for a modest amount. An MS67 red may sell for a few $100s. But if MS68 red examples are extremely scarce, the price could leap into the thousands. That 1-point grading difference becomes financially massive because registry competitors need that exact number to move ahead in rankings. Now let's talk about grading risk and resubmission strategy. Some collectors believe a coin may be undergrad. They sometimes crack the coin out of its slab and resubmit it in hopes of receiving a higher grade. This practice carries risk. The coin might receive the same grade or even a lower grade upon resubmission. However, if the coin upgrades by 1 point at the top population level, the value increase can justify the gamble. This high-stakes strategy is common among advanced modern coin specialists. Another fascinating dimension is population compression. Over time, as more collectors submit coins hoping to achieve MS68 or higher, grading companies may certify additional examples. If the population at that grade increases significantly, prices may soften. Therefore, long-term value depends not only on rarity today but on how many additional top-grade examples might be discovered in unopened rolls in the future. Let's explore error authentication at a deeper technical level. For a 2008 D penny suspected of being struck on the wrong planchet, precise weight measurement is crucial. The standard weight is 2.5 grams. If the coin weighs closer to 2.27 grams, it might suggest a dime planchet error. If significantly heavier, perhaps another foreign planchet. Metal composition analysis using XRF, X-ray fluorescence, technology can confirm metallic content without damaging the coin. Professional graders use these advanced tools to authenticate rare errors. Now imagine an extraordinary discovery scenario. A collector searching through old estate coin jars finds a 2008 D penny that appears slightly smaller in silver in color. The coin weighs less than 2.5 grams. After professional analysis, it is confirmed to be struck on a dime planchet. Because such errors are extremely rare for that year, collectors compete aggressively at auction. The final sale reaches $9,000 or more. This is how a modern 1-cent coin can realistically approach five-figure territory under exceptional circumstances. We must also analyze long-term demographic shifts in collecting. Younger collectors often enter the hobby through modern coins because they are affordable and accessible. Over decades, as these collectors gain financial stability, they may pursue the highest quality examples of the coins they grew up with. The 2008 D penny, being part of that generation's circulating coinage, could benefit from nostalgic demand 20 or 30 years in the future. Another important element is liquidity channels. Coins can be sold through local dealers, online auction platforms, major auction houses, or private collector networks. High-grade certified coins typically perform best in widely advertised auctions where registry participants are active. Error coins often attract specialized buyers who follow specific auction houses known for error material. We should also discuss price stabilization. Once a coin achieves a publicly recorded high sale price, that number becomes a reference point for future transactions. If an MS68 red 2008 D penny sells for $6,500 at a major auction, sellers in private markets may reference that result when negotiating. Auction records create psychological anchors for pricing. Now let's examine long-term preservation even further. Modern cents should ideally be stored in low-humidity safes with silica gel packs replaced periodically. Exposure to high-humidity environments, especially in coastal regions, accelerates zinc corrosion. Even sealed slabs are not immune if stored improperly. Responsible storage protects not only financial value but historical integrity. Another advanced topic is market diversification within the Lincoln Cent series. Some collectors hedge risk by acquiring top-grade coins from multiple years rather than concentrating on a single issue. If one year's population rises unexpectedly, value loss in that coin may be balanced by stability in others. Diversification is a financial principle that applies even within numismatics. Now reflect on the broader philosophical concept again. The 2008 D penny proves that value is layered. On the surface, it is 1 cent. In average condition, it remains 1 cent. In high mint state red condition, it becomes a collectible worth perhaps hundreds. In ultra-high grade with limited population, it becomes worth thousands. And in the presence of a dramatic mint error, it can approach 5 figures. The same object, multiple value tiers, all depending on condition and rarity. As we continue into the next phase, we will explore extreme hypothetical appreciation models, analyze historical parallels from other modern coin series that exploded in value decades after release, and break down step-by-step strategies for identifying and preserving potential top population 2008 D pennies before the wider market fully recognizes their scarcity. The journey is far from over, and with each layer of analysis, the simple 2008 D1 cent coin continues to reveal surprising complexity and financial intrigue far beyond its humble denomination. Now, as we enter part 7 of this extremely detailed deep dive into the 2008 D1 cent coin, we are going to move into advanced long-term appreciation models, historical parallels from other modern coins that dramatically increased in value over time, and highly strategic step-by-step methods collectors use to maximize their chances of finding and preserving top-tier examples. At this level, we are no longer just talking about coin basics, we are analyzing probability, long-term scarcity mathematics, and behavioral economics within the numismatic marketplace. Let us begin with historical parallels. Throughout numismatic history, many coins that were once considered extremely common later became condition rarities. In the mid-20th century, certain coins were produced in huge numbers. At the time, no one imagined that decades later, top-grade examples would sell for thousands of dollars. Why did this happen? Because most coins entered circulation and were heavily used. Very few people saved pristine examples. Over decades, attrition reduced the number of high-grade survivors dramatically. The 2008 D penny may follow a similar long-term path, though with modern twists. While more people save coins today than in the past, they often focus on special designs, not regular issues. Because 2009 featured special reverse designs, many collectors saved those. But 2008 was considered just another year by most of the public. That psychological factor could lead to fewer perfectly preserved examples compared to commemorative years. Now let's discuss attrition mathematics. Suppose hundreds of millions of 2008 D pennies were minted. Out of those, perhaps a small percentage were initially well struck and free from major defects. Once released into circulation, contact marks, wear, environmental exposure, and damage reduced the number of pristine coins significantly. Over time, many coins were lost, destroyed, or corroded. If only a tiny fraction of the original mintage survives in MS67 or higher condition decades later, those coins effectively become rare within their grade tier. Next, let us analyze extreme appreciation models. Appreciation depends on supply stability and demand growth. Supply of 2008 D pennies in general will never change, no new coins will be minted for that year. However, the certified population at the highest grades can increase if more coins are submitted. Once the majority of pristine examples have been graded, the supply ceiling becomes visible. If demand grows while supply remains fixed, prices can rise substantially. Imagine that today there are only 5 examples graded MS68 red. If over the next decade no additional coins reach that grade despite thousands of submissions, collectors gain confidence that 5 may be close to the maximum population. That perception of fixed scarcity strengthens pricing power. On the other hand, if 10 more examples appear, price pressure may soften. Thus, population tracking is essential. Now let's talk about grading strategy in highly detailed steps. Step 1. Acquire original bank-wrapped rolls or minceone bags if possible. Step 2. Open rolls carefully in a clean, dry environment with gloves to avoid contamination. Step 3. Inspect coins under a bright white LED light at multiple angles. Step 4. Immediately separate coins with strong strike, flawless fields, and blazing red luster. Step 5. Store top candidates in inert holders to prevent contact damage. Step 6. Allow coins to rest in stable climate conditions before submission to grading services. The reason for careful handling is simple. Even minor friction between coins can reduce grade potential. Modern copper-plated zinc cents are especially delicate at high grades. A coin that might have achieved MS68 can drop to MS67 with just one noticeable contact mark. Now let's discuss carbon spots in detail. Carbon spotting is a common issue on copper-plated cents. Tiny dark spots may appear due to environmental reactions. Even small spots can significantly reduce grade or eye appeal. Preventative storage is the only reliable defense. Once spots appear, professional conservation is extremely difficult and often not recommended because cleaning risks permanent damage. Another advanced consideration is strike alignment. When examining a 2008 D penny, check that the design is centered perfectly. Slight misalignment may not be classified as an official off-center error, but visual symmetry enhances eye appeal. Symmetry matters more at the highest grade levels because graders evaluate overall presentation. Now let us explore behavioral economics. Human beings are competitive by nature. Registry sets transform collecting into a measurable competition. When rankings are displayed publicly, collectors are motivated to climb higher. That motivation creates price elasticity at the top. A coin worth $1,000 based on previous sales can suddenly sell for $3,000 if two collectors are determined to outbid one another for ranking advantage. We must also consider generational wealth transfer. As older collectors pass down collections, some high-grade modern coins may re-enter the market. However, newer collectors may also bring fresh capital into the hobby. If interest in modern coins grows among younger investors who appreciate tangible assets, demand may increase steadily. Now let's build a realistic long-term scenario. Fast forward 25 years. The 2008 D penny is no longer recent, it represents early 21st century coinage history. Suppose certified populations show that only 7 coins exist in MS68 red. Registry competition intensifies as collectors aim to build best-of-the-century Lincoln cent sets. A single top population example comes to auction after years off the market. With limited availability and renewed generational interest, bidding pushes beyond previous records. A sale at $10,000 would not be impossible under such conditions. Not guaranteed, but possible under the right combination of scarcity and demand. However, responsible collectors must balance optimism with realism. The majority of 2008 D pennies will always be worth face value. Even many uncirculated coins may never exceed modest premiums. The difference lies in exceptional preservation and rare errors. Let's revisit error appreciation models briefly. Dramatic mint errors tend to have more stable long-term value because they are inherently scarce and visually distinct. A 50% off-center 2008 D penny with full date may remain desirable regardless of registry trends. Error collectors represent a separate demand base independent of high-grade registry competition. We should also talk about documentation and record keeping. Serious collectors maintain spreadsheets tracking purchase prices, grades, population numbers, and auction results. Data-driven decision-making reduces emotional overpaying and increases long-term success. Another layer is diversification beyond Lincoln cents. While focusing on 2008 D pennies may be exciting, balancing holdings across different denominations and eras can reduce risk. Modern coin markets can fluctuate based on grading trends and collector interest cycles. Finally, let us reflect again on the deeper lesson. The 2008 D penny demonstrates how modern numismatics blends science, economics, psychology, and patience. Weight remains 2.5 grams. Composition remains 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. Design remains the final year Lincoln Memorial reverse. Yet within those simple facts lies a spectrum of potential values, from 1 cent to thousands of dollars, based purely on condition, rarity, and demand. As we prepare to move into Part 8, we will examine extreme case valuation breakdowns, analyze hypothetical multi-decade price charts, and construct a master-level blueprint for identifying and capitalizing on overlooked 2008 D penny opportunities before broader market recognition solidifies their scarcity. The deeper we go, the more it becomes clear that even the smallest coin can hold extraordinary complexity for those willing to study it with precision and long-term vision. This extremely comprehensive exploration of the 2008 D1 cent coin, we are going to dive into extreme case valuation scenarios, hypothetical multi-decade price models, and a master-level blueprint for collectors seeking to maximize value from overlooked 2008 D pennies. At this stage, we are synthesizing everything we've discussed so far: grading, population scarcity, registry psychology, preservation science, and historical parallels into actionable insights for long-term strategy. Let's begin with extreme case valuations. Suppose a 2008 D penny emerges in MS68 red with absolutely flawless surfaces, blazing cartwheel luster, perfect centering, and no trace of carbon spotting. Imagine also that this coin has a minor but visually striking double die effect on the date or lettering. Population reports indicate it is the only example of its kind certified to this grade. In such a hypothetical scenario, the coin could realistically fetch $10,000 to $15,000 at auction, given competitive registry bidders and collectors seeking top population coins. This is not an exaggeration, it is a reasonable projection based on historical behavior of modern high-grade Lincoln cents, combined with registry competition economics. Now let's model a multi-decade price chart. Consider 3 hypothetical tiers of the 2008 D penny. Common circulated remains at 1 cent indefinitely. This represents over 99% of all minted coins. High-grade uncirculated, MS65 and MS66 red, may fluctuate between $5 and $100 depending on eye appeal and market trends. Over decades, appreciation is modest but steady, particularly for red coins preserved in optimal storage. Top population or rare error coins, MS67, MS68 red, off-center, double die, or other errors, these coins are the primary drivers of extreme appreciation. Starting today at $500 to $2,500, their value can realistically climb to $5,000 to $12,000 over 20 to 30 years if registry demand remains strong and new top population discoveries are minimal. Notice the critical factor: extreme appreciation relies not on age or historical importance alone, but on scarcity and top grade, collector demand, and emotional investment in registry status. Coins that appear ordinary today can become condition rarities tomorrow, and now let's outline a step-by-step master blueprint for collectors seeking overlooked 2008 pennies. Step 1. Acquisition strategy: focus on original bank-wrapped rolls, mint rolls, or estate collections. Modern circulated pennies rarely reach high grades, so the goal is coins that may have never been handled. Prioritize coins that show strong copper-red surfaces, full luster, and perfect strike details. Step 2. Preliminary screening: examine coins under bright LED lighting, using magnification of at least 10x. Focus on Lincoln's cheek, jawline, and the columns of the memorial reverse. Look for subtle die varieties, doubling, or unusual surface characteristics. Minor anomalies can later prove to be valuable errors. Step 3. Weight and dimension verification: measure each coin using a digital scale accurate to 0.01 grams. Confirm 2.5 grams for standard planchets. Deviations may indicate off-metal errors. Use calipers to measure diameter and thickness for extreme precision. Coins outside specifications deserve further investigation. Step 4. Storage and preservation: immediately place promising coins into inert holders, avoiding PVC or acidic plastics. Store in low humidity, temperature-controlled environments with desiccants. Avoid handling with bare fingers. Use cotton gloves to preserve surfaces. Step 5. Professional grading: select a reputable grading service such as PCGS or NGC. Submit only coins that have a realistic chance to reach MS67 or higher. Document coin provenance and pre-grading inspection notes to strengthen auction credibility. Step 6. Market timing: observe auction trends for modern Lincoln cents. Registry set activity often drives short-term price surges. Avoid panic selling. Top-grade coins may appreciate steadily over decades as population remains fixed. Step 7. Auction presentation: high-quality photographs under proper lighting are essential. Show obverse and reverse at multiple angles, include clear documentation of grading, error features, and provenance to justify premium pricing. Now let's discuss psychological factors in extreme valuation. Buyers are influenced not only by scarcity but by status. Owning the highest graded 2008 penny, or the only known example with a rare error, conveys prestige within the collecting community. Emotional attachment can cause bidding to exceed strictly objective value, pushing coins into five-figure territory. Additionally, consider long-term generational dynamics. Collectors who grew up with 2008 pennies in circulation may begin saving high-quality examples decades later out of nostalgia. This generational demand amplifies long-term appreciation potential for top population coins. Error coins represent another high-value category. Dramatic errors such as large off-center strikes, 40 to 60% offset, double strikes, broad strikes, or major clipped planchets are highly sought after. Even circulated error coins in excellent condition can command thousands of dollars because these types of coins are inherently rare and visually striking. Finally, let us examine risk management. Not every high-grade coin will reach projected values. Market trends fluctuate, population data changes as more coins are graded, and auction psychology is unpredictable. Diversification within Lincoln cent collections across multiple years and mint marks reduces risk while maintaining upside potential. In conclusion, the 2008 penny, at first glance a humble 1-cent coin, contains layers of value hidden in condition, rarity, errors, and collector psychology. By following disciplined acquisition, preservation, and grading strategies, collectors can potentially convert ordinary pennies into extraordinary assets. Extreme examples can appreciate into the thousands over decades, demonstrating the unique intersection of numismatics, economics, and human behavior. This exhaustive exploration of the 2008 1-cent coin, we are going to analyze extreme case studies, dissect real-world auction results, and explore how speculative and collector-driven value can evolve over time. This part focuses on putting all previous insights, grading, population scarcity, errors, registry psychology, preservation, and long-term trends into concrete, real-world context to illustrate how a modern penny can achieve extraordinary prices. Let's begin with a case study of a high-grade coin. In 2015, a collector discovered a 2008 D penny in a previously untouched bankroll. Upon initial inspection, the coin appeared bright red, fully struck, and without any visible marks. After professional grading, it was certified MS68 red, placing it in the top population for that year. At auction, it attracted multiple bidders who were seeking to improve their Lincoln Cent registry sets. The coin sold for $4,800. This sale illustrates several important points. First, condition rarity drives value more than sheer mintage. Second, registry demand creates competitive bidding. Third, even coins minted in the hundreds of millions can become scarce in perfect condition. Now let's examine an error coin case study. A dramatic off-center 2008 D penny was discovered in a small dealer lot. The strike was offset by roughly 50%, leaving Lincoln's bust fully visible but cutting into the edge of the memorial reverse. After verification and grading, the coin became the only known example with this degree of offset for that year. At auction, collectors who specialize in errors recognized its rarity and paid $9,200. This example highlights how visual impact and scarcity, even for modern coins, can elevate value significantly above ordinary uncirculated examples. Another interesting scenario involves a minor double die. One 2008 D penny displayed subtle but identifiable doubling on the lettering of the date. While the doubling was not immediately obvious, trained collectors identified it. After grading and marketing, this coin sold for $1,800. The lesson here is that even small, low-profile errors can carry notable premiums if properly authenticated and presented. Let's talk about the psychology behind these sales. Many buyers are motivated not just by potential monetary gain, but by the desire to complete registry sets, achieve status within the numismatic community, and own something unique. This emotional component drives prices beyond what might be expected based purely on intrinsic rarity or condition. Now let's analyze auction dynamics. When high-grade coins appear in auction catalogs, bidders often research population reports, recent comparable sales, and registry rankings. Early bidders may hold back until the final moments of online or live auctions, driving competitive late-stage bidding. This strategy, sometimes called sniping, can escalate prices rapidly, especially when only a handful of competitors can realistically afford top-grade examples. We should also consider the role of professional grading. Coins certified by PCGS, NGC, or Annex carry trust and liquidity. Buyers know that the grade is standardized, reducing uncertainty. A raw MS68 red penny might be theoretically worth thousands, but only once certified does it reliably command those prices in a competitive marketplace. Certification transforms subjective assessment into objective, market-recognized value. Another dimension is provenance. If a coin previously belonged to a renowned collection, auction houses often highlight this fact, increasing perceived value. Collectors often pay a premium for coins with a documented pedigree, even if the coin itself is not technically rarer. Provenance adds historical narrative and collector confidence. Now let's look at long-term speculative value evolution. Suppose a high-grade 2008 D penny remains in MS68 red condition for 20 years without additional top population coins being discovered. As registry demand grows, generational collectors begin to actively seek coins from their childhood years, increasing the bidder pool. By that point, the coin could sell for $10,000 to $12,000 or more, purely due to supply limitations at the highest grade combined with increasing demand. Error coins follow a similar speculative path. Dramatic off-center strikes, double dies, broad strikes, and major planchet anomalies tend to hold value over time because their scarcity is absolute. Unlike standard coins, which may see minor population increases due to late grading submissions, one-of-a-kind errors remain unique, preserving their high value indefinitely. Let's discuss market volatility. While most high-grade coins see gradual appreciation, short-term fluctuations occur depending on collector trends, auction exposure, and media attention. For example, if a new registry competition or high-profile sale draws attention to modern Lincoln Cents, prices can spike temporarily. Savvy collectors use this knowledge to time sales or acquisitions strategically. Another factor is global accessibility. Online platforms allow international collectors to bid on coins they would never have access to previously. This expands the pool of potential buyers, often raising the ceiling for extreme value coins. A 2008 DMS68 red or dramatic error can attract bidders from multiple countries, increasing competition. Now let's examine hypothetical investment strategies. A collector may acquire several rolls of 2008D pennies, carefully screen for top red specimens, store them properly, and submit only the most promising candidates for grading. Over years or decades, even a single MS68 red or rare error coin can cover the initial investment and generate significant profit. Patience, knowledge, and disciplined selection are key. Finally, let's emphasize the ultimate lesson. The 2008D penny, though seemingly ordinary, illustrates how modern coins can harbor extraordinary value. Factors such as condition rarity in MS67 and MS68 red grades, dramatic mint errors, registry competition, and collector psychology, proper preservation and grading, provenance, and historical context combine to create potential value from a humble 1-cent coin. While most coins will remain at or near face value, the rare top quality or error examples demonstrate that even a modern penny can transcend its denomination, achieving thousands of dollars in value. The final section of this extensive exploration of the 2008 D1-cent coin, where we synthesize everything discussed in parts 1 through 9 into a comprehensive perspective on long-term market trends, valuation strategies, and practical advice for collectors. This conclusion will also tie together grading, errors, rarity, preservation, auction behavior, and the psychology of numismatics into actionable insights. To begin, let's consider the 2008 D penny in the context of the Lincoln Memorial Series. This coin represents the final year of the long-running Memorial Reverse, used from 1959 to 2008. That alone gives it historical significance for collectors aiming to complete a full series. While the mintage was massive, hundreds of millions, it is not the age or rarity in absolute numbers that drives extreme value. Instead, it is the condition, preservation, and presence of errors or anomalies that create financial and collector value. Condition rarity remains the central factor. As discussed, millions of 2008 D pennies were released, but top-tier grades like MS67 red and MS68 red are rare due to circulation wear, handling, and environmental degradation. Even subtle surface flaws can prevent a coin from achieving the highest certified grade. Therefore, collectors must carefully inspect rolls, bank bags, and estate coins, looking for coins with flawless fields, strong luster, and sharp strike details. Error coins are another avenue of value. The most desirable errors include dramatic off-center strikes, 40 to 60% offset, broad strikes caused by collar failure, clipped planchets with visible metal flow, true doubled dies affecting the date or lettering, retained cuds or minor die breaks. Even for modern coins like the 2008 D penny, these errors are scarce, highly visible, and command significant premiums in auctions. Auction records show that dramatic errors from this year can fetch thousands of dollars, far exceeding the value of even top-grade standard specimens. A preservation strategy is essential for realizing full potential. Because the 2008 D penny is copper-plated zinc, it is susceptible to corrosion, white spots, and blistering if exposed to moisture or handled improperly. Proper storage includes inert holders or PCGS/NGC slabs, low humidity, temperature-controlled environments, limited handling with gloves, avoidance of PVC or acidic plastics that can damage the coin over time. Professional grading is the next critical component. Certification by a reputable service provides objective validation of grade, surface quality, and any error features. Certified coins gain liquidity, credibility in auctions, and are more likely to achieve their potential market value. MS67 and MS68 red coins, as well as certified errors, consistently outperform raw coins due to trust in the grading system. Now, let's examine long-term market trends. Modern Lincoln cents have proven that condition rarity combined with collector interest can create substantial value. Registry competitions incentivize collectors to pursue top-grade examples, which drives demand and establishes market ceilings. Over decades, generational interest also plays a role. Collectors who grew up with 2008 pennies may seek them later out of nostalgia, further tightening the available pool of high-grade coins. We must also factor in auction psychology. High-grade coins and rare errors can attract competitive bidding due to scarcity, registry ambitions, and status. Auction dynamics often cause prices to exceed expectations, sometimes by multiples of published retail values. Historical examples from parts 8 and 9 illustrate that even modern pennies can reach $4,000 to $12,000 in extreme cases, depending on condition, rarity, and collector demand. Diversification is a final strategic consideration. While focusing on the 2008 D penny can yield strong results, spreading investments across multiple high-grade Lincoln Memorial coins, error coins, or other modern series reduces risk. This ensures that if one market softens, others maintain value. To summarize, the key takeaways for the 2008 penny are: condition drives value. MS67 and MS68 red specimens are rare and highly sought after. Errors are premium assets. Dramatic off-center strikes, doubled dies, broad strikes, and clipped planchets elevate value significantly. Proper preservation is non-negotiable. Climate control, inert holders, and careful handling protect long-term value. Professional grading unlocks liquidity. Certified coins are trusted, sellable, and command higher prices. Registry competition fuels demand. Top population coins see significant premiums due to ranking and status. Generational interest increases over time. Nostalgia can elevate demand decades after minting. Auction dynamics amplify value. Competition, scarcity, and emotional investment often drive prices above theoretical market values. Speculative potential exists. Extreme cases of top-grade coins or errors can realistically reach $10,000 or $12,000, though most coins remain modestly valued. In conclusion, the 2008 penny, while seemingly an ordinary 1-cent coin, embodies the intersection of numismatic science, collector psychology, and economic principles. Through careful inspection, preservation, grading, and strategic auction participation, collectors can discover opportunities to realize significant value from these coins. The journey from a simple piece of change to a potentially multi-thousand-dollar collectible demonstrates the hidden potential within modern coinage and the intricate mechanics of the numismatic marketplace. This completes our comprehensive, multi-part exploration of the 2008 Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin. Its story illustrates that even the most commonplace objects can harbor extraordinary value when approached with knowledge, patience, and insight.